Alrighty, missing kids who never knew they were missing. Whoa.
18-year-old Alexis Manigault's world was turned upside down when she learned that the woman she thought was her mother allegedly kidnapped her from a Florida hospital in 1998.
They had been looking for me, and I didn't even know that this was...
Yo, that is so crazy.
That I was lost.
Bro, the amount of kids that are being like taken from hospitals, bro, that shit needs to be studied, gang. Bro, I know back in the day, like, I know Jackson was really known. If y'all know, if y'all from Florida, Jackson Memorial was really known for like having stolen kids. Like that shit was so crazy to me. Like,
if I didn't
now watching this video just reminded me of everything.
What if I was perfectly fine, living in a lie? I was perfectly fine.
Our next story began with heartbreak, a child kidnapped at birth. 17 years later, it is an ending that surprises in more ways than one.
That is crazy.
Some people grow up believing a lie. Then one day they discover their name is fake and the people they call mom and dad are not really who they say they are. Today we'll talk about an orphanage that treated stolen children like a business, a teenager who loved her kidnapper more than her own parents, and a random selfie that exposed a dark family secret. These are missing kids who never knew they were missing. Grab some tissue.
I'm so sorry, but I feel more bad like to the kid because like just think about living this lifestyle that you think this is your mother, you think this is your father. Whole time, this is a whole kidnapper. Like just to
because this may be one of the more emotional videos we've ever made. The goal, guys, is 2.5 million subscribers by the end of 2026. It is crazy, so it would mean the world if you subscribe. And I will do my very best to put out the best videos I can for you on Visual Venture. And you are awesome. The wrong missing child.
Of studies.
In 1966, FBI agents made a terrible mistake. They accidentally helped a couple steal a child. That child spent the next 50 years living under someone else's identity. And when he finally discovered the truth, he realized that his stolen identity was only one part of a much darker mystery. On April 26, 1964, Paul Franczak was born in a Chicago hospital. His parents were overjoyed, but less than 24 hours later, that happiness was gone. The day after Paul was born, a nurse walked into his mom's hospital room. She said the doctor needed to examine the baby. Paul's mom had no reason to doubt her, so she handed baby Paul over. The nurse walked out of the room, and she never came back. Hours later, everyone realized...
To be honest with you, I think that, like, I still think that's happening in today's time. Mind you, the technology is way better, and they have, you know, better cameras and whatnot, but I still feel as if that people are still kidnapping other people's kids, bro. Like, still to the day, gang.
Realized that the woman was not a real nurse. Even worse, she disappeared with baby Paul. Hospital staff quickly called the police. Paul's parents were panicking. His mother managed to give officers a description of a mysterious nurse.
She was a female, approximately white, approximately 40 years of age, 5'5", about 145 pounds.
Police were determined to find the baby. They went door to door, searching hundreds of homes in the area. The case was reported in the newspaper, but they found no sign of baby Paul. About 2 years passed with no answers. Then something unusual happened hundreds of miles away in New Jersey. Someone found a toddler in a stroller behind a department store. They carried the child to the nearest police station. Announcements were made. Police expected his parents to come looking for him, but no one showed up to claim the child. Then officers started wondering, was this really an abandoned baby? Or was he the baby Paul that was stolen from Chicago? He looked like Paul, and he was about the right age, but there was a problem. There was no scientific way to confirm their suspicions. DNA testing did not exist yet. The hospital had no record of Paul's blood type because he was taken a day after he was born. They didn't even have Paul's fingerprints on file. All they had was one photo of Paul. It was taken the day he was born. Paul was lying on his side, so only one of his ears was visible. That ear became the main piece of evidence.
The FBI concluded that the little boy in Newark had the same ear structure as the kidnapped baby from Chicago.
To the FBI, the ear was enough proof. Baby Paul's parents, Dora and Chester, were brought in to identify the boy. The FBI was sure he was their missing son, and the moment Dora saw him, she believed it too.
And then Dora yelled out, "Oh my God, that's my baby." It was like a miracle. The Franczak family was whole again.
Dora and Chester took the boy home and raised him as Paul Franczak. Everyone believed the nightmare was finally over, but they were wrong. Paul grew up like any other kid. Eventually, his parents had another son, so Paul had a younger brother. When Paul was 10, he was searching for Christmas presents in the house. Instead, he found a box with old newspaper clippings.
They were about him, and it revealed that when he was a newborn, he had been kidnapped.
Paul was confused. He ran straight to his mom mom for answers, but she didn't want to discuss it.
All she would say was, "You were kidnapped. We found you. We love you. We'll never talk about it again."
But Paul never forgot that he was kidnapped as a baby. And as he grew older, something else kept bothering him. He didn't look like anyone else in his family.
For one thing, he looked nothing like his parents.
My brother looks exactly like my dad. Exactly. I don't.
Paul pushed.
Yo, imagine the narrative is that, yo, he's not even the dad. Like, it's the brother that became the dad.
Those doubts aside, decades passed. He got married and became a father. One day, a doctor asked Paul a simple question. Did any illnesses run in his family? Suddenly, Paul's old doubts came rushing back. He wasn't sure if the Franzak's medical history was truly his. That uncertainty brought back the question he carried since childhood. Was he really Paul Franzak?
What if by chance I'm really not that kidnapped child, Paul, from Chicago? I think I should find out.
By then, DNA testing now existed, so Paul asked his parents to take a test with him. They agreed. In 2012, the results came back. Paul was not biologically related to Dora and Chester Franzak. The FBI gave the Franzaks the wrong child, but that was only half the problem. If he was not Paul Franzak, it meant the real kidnapped baby was still missing. Paul now needed to answer two questions. Who was he? And what happened?
So you're telling me this guy went 50-something years thinking that, oh, this is my family, this is my mom, this is my dad. I'm pretty sure he had thoughts like, oh, I don't think I'm their parents because I look way different than these people. But yo, that is crazy.
To the real Paul. He asked a team of genealogists for help. They compared his data with profiles stored in public genealogy databases. When they found distant relatives, they used those matches to build possible family trees. The process took years, but in 2015, the genealogists gave Paul an answer. Paul discovered that his true identity was Jack Rosenthal. His parents were Gilbert and Marie Rosenthal, and he had a twin sister named Jill. He tracked down members of his biological family. What they told him was heartbreaking. His biological parents struggled with substance use and mental health problems. They sometimes stayed out all night partying and drinking. Relatives said the twins were often neglected. When Jack and Jill were almost 2 years old, both children suddenly disappeared. Family members asked where they were, but the parents came up with an excuse as to why the twins would no longer be at family meetings. Neither twin was reported missing. It seemed the children were simply abandoned. That was how Jack ended up alone in a stroller in New Jersey. The FBI mistakenly believed he was baby Paul. Instead, he was a different abandoned child. No one knew what happened to his twin sister, Jill. Paul, whose real name was Jack, finally knew who he really was. But solving one mystery created another. If he was Jack Rosenthal, where was the real Paul Franzak? For the next 4 years, investigators searched DNA databases for anyone connected to Dora and Chester Franzak. In 2019, they found a match. The real Paul Franzak was alive. He was living under the name Kevin Beatty.
Kevin Beatty was in his mid-50s before he learned his true identity. Paul Joseph Franzak, abducted as a baby from a Chicago hospital in 1964.
Kevin was raised by a woman named Lorraine Fountain. According to reports, Lorraine moved to Arkansas for a year and then returned with baby Paul. But no one knew exactly how she got him, and it was too late for police to question her because Lorraine already passed away. Kevin finally knew the truth about his identity, but he didn't have enough time to get to know his biological family. Kevin was already battling cancer. He spoke with his biological mother, Dora, over the phone, but mother and son never got to meet in person. Kevin passed away in April 2020, barely a year after he was found. He was 56. It was a tragic end to a mystery that lasted 50 years. This next story is about a missing child whose biological mother was disappointed when she was found. 18 years of lies.
No, that's crazy.
When Kamaya Mobley was 17, she discovered she
50-something years, and you discovered that your mom that you was calling mom was never your mom for real. You find out that your mom is not really your mom, and she ended up dying from I don't know, I think early aging, and now it's your turn to die. Once you find out that you found your mom, you're about to die.
She was kidnapped as a baby. She even learned who took her. But Kamaya didn't go running to the police. Instead, she kept the secret to protect the woman who stole her. In 1998, a woman named Gloria Williams experienced a personal tragedy. Gloria had a miscarriage. Losing a baby left her in a terrible emotional state.
I was a different person. My head was in a different place. I was just broken. I had a broken heart. I had a broken spirit.
She already held a baby shower and chose a name for the child. Now her dream of being a mother was gone. But Gloria didn't tell her friends or family that she lost the baby. 1 week after the loss, she got in her car and started driving. She ended up at a hospital in Florida. Gloria walked into
this is the second case in Florida.
Maternity ward. She just stood there looking at the babies and thinking about the child she lost. At first, she had no plans to steal a child, but when she was there, she snapped. Then she made a terrible choice. Another woman named Shanara Mobley was staying at the same hospital. She just gave birth to a baby girl named Kamaya. While Shanara was resting, Gloria entered her room. Gloria pretended to be a nurse. She claimed she needed to check the baby's temperature. Gloria picked up baby Kamaya and walked out of the room. She never returned. News of the kidnapping spread fast. Police searched everyone leaving the hospital, but Gloria was already gone. Kamaya's mom went on TV to plead for help.
Please, I'm begging you. Please bring me my baby, please.
But finding Kamaya would be extremely difficult. The police had very little to work with. Kamaya was only 8 hours old when she was taken. The hospital didn't even have a photo of the baby. Experts had to create a sketch showing what Kamaya might look like. People used that sketch to search for her.
That is so tough. See somebody pushing a baby in a stroller, you would stop and look to see if it resembled Kamaya's composite.
Thousands called in with tips, but they led nowhere. It seemed the child was gone for good. Gloria took baby Kamaya home to South Carolina. She told her family and friends that she gave birth. No one had any reason to doubt her. Gloria gave the baby a new name, Alexis Kelly Manigault. It was the same name she originally chose for the baby she lost. Alexis grew up believing Gloria was her biological mother. The two were extremely close. Years later, Alexis recalled how her childhood felt.
I do feel like she raised me right. I do feel like she raised me great. I feel like I had a good life.
When Alexis was 17, she tried to apply for a job. To complete the application, she needed her social security card and birth certificate. She asked Gloria for the documents, but Gloria refused to give them to her. For the first time, Alexis became suspicious. She kept asking questions until Gloria couldn't hide the truth.
Gloria broke down and told her what happened. Told her she took her. And it was an emotional day, obviously.
Alexis finally knew the truth. Her name was Kamaya Mobley. The woman she called mom actually stole her. All Alexis had to do was go to the police and she could be reunited with her real family. But she chose not to. 17-year-old Alexis chose to stay with.
But it's like, can you really blame her at that point? 17 years calling your mom, she's take care of you, she don't mistreat you. Like, I don't think she would really want to. I don't think she would want that to happen. You know, I don't think she would want somebody that I'm pretty sure she loves. And of course she adores because that's her mom and raised her for 17 years. I don't think she would want that to happen and, you know, get a whole new life as a, you know, stranger or whatnot.
The woman who stole her as a baby. To her, Gloria was still the loving and kind mother. So they continued living together as mother and daughter. However, Kamaya struggled to carry such a huge secret alone. She eventually confided in her best friend. Then she made her best friend promise not to tell anyone. Unfortunately, secrets aren't easy to keep. 1 year later, that friend broke her promise. She told her mom that Alexis was a missing child, and her mom went straight to the police. In January 2017, police took a DNA sample from Alexis. It was confirmed. Alexis was Kamaya Mobley. It became national news.
It's one of the biggest stories across the nation tonight. A baby stolen 18 years ago is found alive.
Gloria was arrested. Kamaya met her biological family, but to her, they were strangers. She spent her entire life loving Gloria as her mother. Now, Gloria was in handcuffs and she was expected to accept a new family overnight. When reporters asked what should happen to Gloria, Kamaya defended her.
I understand what she did was wrong, but just don't lock her up and throw away the key.
In 2018, Gloria was sentenced to 18 years in prison. The judge gave her 1 year in jail for every year she kept the child. Kamaya felt the punishment was too harsh. She continued defending Gloria.
From that one mistake, I was given the best life. I was. I had everything I ever needed, wanted. I had love.
But that loyalty to Gloria created another problem, particularly for Shanara, Kamaya's biological mother. She spent 18 years waiting for her missing daughter to come home. But the girl who came back loved the woman who stole her. Shanara felt she was being rejected for a kidnapper, and she made her feelings clear.
I don't have a relationship with my child, so what did I gain? Nothing. I wish sometimes she would have never came back.
Oh my God. So it's like a lose-lose at this point because you wanted your child, and then you didn't want your child. And then now you got your child. You don't know how to do anything with her because she doesn't have that connection with you. It was like it's really a loss. You know, she get 18 years and you lost 18 years. But
Nara
it's like,
even
it's
gave her daughter an
though, for
ultimatum.
sure.
It's either her or me. It became messy. However, Kamaya did not cut Gloria off. She still calls Gloria her mom. At the same time, Kamaya is also trying to build a relationship with her biological mother, Shinara. This next child was born in secret because the government wasn't supposed to know she existed. The twin who disappeared. When Esther Frederick was 2, she was kidnapped by the Chinese government. They took her for a very strange reason. Under China's rules, she was never supposed to exist. In other words, her birth was a crime. In 1980, China introduced a rule called the one-child policy. The government used it to limit how many children families could have. For most couples, the rule was simple. They were allowed to have
I thought it was like South Korea that was doing that. I didn't know it was China.
Only one child, but in some places, a second child was allowed.
If you lived in a Chinese city, you could only have one child. If you lived in the countryside, you might be allowed a second if your first was a girl.
So couples living in cities could only have one child. Village couples were allowed 2 if their first was a girl. Any child after that was against the law. Breaking these rules could lead to serious consequences. The government believed that families who violated the law created a burden on society. Parents could face large fines. If they worked for the government, they could be fired. The government could seize the family's properties. And sometimes authorities took the additional child away. In the 1990s, a Chinese couple lived in a village in China. Their first child was a girl, so they were allowed to have a second. Their second child was also a girl. That was their limit. Having another child could put the family in serious trouble. But in the year
bad though. I mean, like, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but like you would want, since you're only having 2 childs, I feel like I would want to have a boy second. You feel me? I don't know. That's me personally. If I know I'm gonna have 2 childs, bro, my goal is to make a boy and a girl. Like, for sure.
2000, the wife became pregnant again. She knew the government could punish the family if they found out, so she hid the pregnancy for 9 months. Then things became even more complicated.
How you do that?
She gave birth to twin girls. Now they had 4 children. That was twice the number they were allowed to have. At first, the family hid and moved around, but they knew they couldn't live that way forever. To avoid detection, they decided to separate the children. Their 2 older daughters stayed with relatives. The parents moved to another village with one of the twins. People there were less likely to know that the couple already had more children back home, and the other twin was sent to live with an aunt and uncle. With the 4 girls living in different homes, the family hoped no one would discover the truth. The plan worked for 2 years. Then the authorities found out. They were reportedly tipped off by the midwife who delivered the girls. Officials found the twin living with her aunt and uncle. 5 men working for family planning stormed the house and took her away. They said the family could have her back if they paid a large fine.
They asked for fines amounting to more than $1,000 to return the girl.
$1,000 was a lot of money for them. The family could not afford it, so the child was sent to an orphanage. At the time, China had a law allowing foreigners to adopt Chinese children. Before long, an American couple from Texas agreed to adopt her. The couple asked the orphanage about the child's past, but the orphanage lied.
Her adoptive family didn't know anything about this. They were told that she had been found abandoned at the gates of a factory.
The couple named the girl Esther Frederick. Then they took her to America with them. Meanwhile, her biological family had no idea what happened to her. To them, it was like she disappeared into thin air. Esther grew up in a loving home in Texas. Esther knew she was born in China, but her adoption papers said she was abandoned. So she believed her birth family didn't want her. That was far from the truth. Back in China, Esther's family never stopped thinking about her. Esther's twin sister grew up with their parents. Her name was Shuangjie. Esther had no idea Shuangjie existed, but Shuangjie knew she had a missing twin. She often asked when her sister would come home.
Because actually, if my sister wasn't taken away, she will be as old as me and we can play together.
But no one knew where her sister was. They didn't even know if she was still alive. Then in 2009, a journalist named Barbara Demick visited their village. Barbara was investigating reports that Chinese officials took children and placed them for international adoption. Shuangjie's mom asked the reporter to help find her missing daughter. Barbara promised to try. She knew which orphanage the children were sent to, so the reporter searched for American parents who adopted children from that orphanage. Eventually, she found photos of a girl who looked exactly like Shuangjie. Barbara traced the girl to Texas. The missing twin was Esther Frederick, but finding Esther was only the first step. Now she had to tell the American family where Esther really came from. Barbara contacted Esther's adoptive family. She explained everything about the one-child policy and how Esther was taken away. At first, Esther's adoptive mother didn't want the families connected. The news was difficult to process. She adopted Esther believing the child had been abandoned, but eventually she changed her mind. She agreed for Esther to meet Shuangzhe. Barbara connected the twin sisters. They began sending messages to each other through a messaging app. For about a year, they slowly got to know each other. Finally,
dang, so it's like she wouldn't even know the language anymore. Like, she's been living in the United States for so long, I doubt she'll know like the language. The other sister probably.
They decided to meet in person. In February 2019, Esther traveled to China with her adoptive family.
So
the reporter Barbara traveled with them. After many years apart, the twins finally met.
Finally, a decade later, the twins, aged 18, got a chance to play together.
Esther also met her biological parents and her two older sisters. The two families spent several days together. When the visit ended, Esther returned to the United States, but she remained in contact with her family in China, especially her twin sister. For most of her life, Esther believed she was abandoned. In reality, her family never stopped waiting for her to come home. This next case stayed unsolved for half a century until a DNA test cracked it wide open. The babysitter's
how do
secret.
y'all feel about this?
Almost every parent needs a babysitter at some point. Usually,
that's so
it's
like
no big
unfortunate, bro. Just to know that you're going through life and you're thinking that these are people that you grew up with. These people you came out of. Whoa. You guys know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And then you come to find out that that's not even your people's for real. Yo, I feel so hurt.
But for one family in Texas, hiring the wrong babysitter ruined their lives. In 1969, Alta and Jeffrey Highsmith had a baby girl. They named her Melissa. Not long after Melissa was born, Alta and Jeffrey separated. Jeffrey moved to another state, so Melissa was raised by her mother Alta in Texas. Alta was a single parent. She got a job to pay the bills, but she couldn't take Melissa to work with her, so she placed an ad in the newspaper looking for a babysitter. Before long, a woman called Alta about the job. Alta was desperate for help, so she hired the woman over the phone out of desperation. She never met the babysitter face to face. She didn't even know what she looked like. It was a decision Alta would regret for the rest of her life. On August 23rd, 1971, Alta left for work. Alta had a roommate, so she left baby Melissa with her roommate at their apartment. The plan was simple. The babysitter would pick Melissa up, watch her for the day, and bring her back that evening. While Alta was at work, the babysitter arrived at the apartment. She told Alta's roommate that she was there to pick up the baby. The roommate handed Melissa over.
Alta was at work all day, and she said that she told the babysitter to drop Melissa back off around 5 or 6 when she got home.
But the entire day passed, and the babysitter never brought Melissa home. Even worse, Alta didn't even have the babysitter's address or telephone number. Alta called the police. Their first suspect was Jeffrey, Melissa's father.
Because non-family infant abductions are pretty rare, they first went to Illinois thinking that maybe her father, Jeffrey, had coordinated her abduction.
But Jeffrey knew nothing about it. Police ruled him out as a suspect. Then he joined the search for his daughter. Investigators tried to identify the babysitter, but they had very little information about her. Eventually, the case went cold, but Alta and Jeffrey refused to stop searching.
We never gave up hope looking for her. Through the years, we had several tips. We would go off to other states.
Every new tip gave the family hope, but none of them led to Melissa. Years passed. If Melissa was still alive, she was no longer a baby. So experts created pictures showing what Melissa might look like as she grew older. Sadly, it didn't bring the family any closer to finding her. 51 years passed without answers. Then Melissa's family tried something that did not exist when she disappeared. They turned to DNA. Jeffrey submitted his DNA to 23andMe, which is a service that matches relatives based on DNA. In 2022, he got a match. Based on DNA similarities, a woman named Melanie Miyoko was his daughter. Jeffrey found her on Facebook and sent a message. Melanie recounted seeing the message.
He told me, I've been looking for my daughter for 51 years.
Melanie thought it was a scam, but she agreed to examine the evidence. One detail stood out.
She realized that she even had the same birthmark on her back that baby Melissa did.
Melanie needed answers, so she confronted the woman who raised her.
I asked her, is there anything that you need to tell me? And it was confirmed that she knew that I was
baby Melissa.
The woman admitted she wasn't Melanie's biological mother, but she swore she wasn't the babysitter who kidnapped her. She claimed she found the child on the street. After 51 years apart, Melissa, now known as Melanie, met her biological parents. She told them all about her life. Sadly, she didn't have a happy childhood.
She never felt loved by the woman who raised her.
And it was just really an abusive until I ran away from home when I was 15.
Melissa survived that difficult childhood. She grew up, got married, and had 3 children. The incredible reunion soon made national news.
Melissa Highsmith never even knew that she had been kidnapped, but 51 years later, she has finally been reunited with her birth parents.
But one mystery remained. No one knew the true identity of the babysitter who took Melissa. It was also unclear how Melissa ended up with the woman who raised her. Police said the investigation was still ongoing. However, the statute of limitations for Melissa's kidnapping expired in 2007. So even if police find the kidnapper, they would probably not face criminal charges. This missing person didn't realize he was missing until he was 79 years old. The longest search. Luis Albino lived the kind of life most people would call complete. He served in the military, became a firefighter, and raised a family. It seemed he had it all.
Military and firefighter? Yeah, you definitely. I mean, there's people that have done that before. I know military and then police officer, military firefighter. There's another.
But there was one thing Luis didn't know. His wonderful life started with him being kidnapped as a child. In February 1951, 2 brothers were playing at a park in Oakland, California. Their names were Luis and Roger Albino. Luis was 6 and Roger was 10. That afternoon, a woman approached the brothers. She promised to buy Luis candy if he followed her. Luis wanted the candy, so he followed the woman out of the park. Roger watched the
Don't take candy from no stranger, guys. Yo, if y'all under the age, please, bro, please. If you ever watched Black Phone,
strange woman lead his little brother away. He followed them for a short distance. Then he did what most kids would. He ran home to tell his mom what happened. His mom, Antonia, rushed to the park, but she was too late. The woman and Luis were gone. The mother, Antonia, asked the police for help.
He fell for the oldest trick in the book, bro. How you fall for that? You want candy? Follow me.
Searched the neighborhood but found no signs of Luis. Luis's picture was published in the newspaper. Still, no useful information came in. But Antonia never lost hope. She believed Luis was alive and she would see him again. She displayed his photo at their family home. And she always kept a newspaper clipping about his abduction in her wallet. That way, she could easily ask anyone for information. Her determination was so impressive that the local newspaper wrote a story about her. As the years passed, she continued asking for updates. She went to the police station weekly, then monthly, then eventually annually. But the reunion she dreamed about never happened. In 2005, Antonia passed away, and it was 54 years since Luis disappeared. And she passed away without knowing what happened to her son. Antonia was gone, but the family never forgot Luis. As the years passed, a new generation grew up hearing his story. One of them was Luis's niece, Alita. Her mother was Luis's sister. That meant Alita grew up hearing about an uncle who disappeared before she was born. In 2020, Alita took an online DNA test just for fun. She wasn't searching for Luis, but the results connected her to a man she never heard of.
It showed she shared 22% of her DNA with a man living on the East Coast.
That was a very close match. So Alita searched the man's name and photo online. She compared his face to her family's.
And then there was one picture that he really, really looked like my grandmother. That one kind of like gave me chills. And I said, no, there's something here.
The grandmother he resembled was Antonia, Luis's mother. Alita was convinced that this stranger was her missing uncle, so she took everything she found to the police. Investigators tracked the man down. They took his DNA and checked. The results confirmed the truth. That man was Luis Albino. Luis was now 79 years old. Investigators asked Luis what happened after the woman took him. He didn't remember clearly because he was a child. All he knew was that he ended up with a couple on the East Coast. The couple gave Luis a new name and raised him as their son. No one told him that he was kidnapped. Luis went on to build a full life. He joined the Marines and served 2 tours in Vietnam. After leaving the military, he became a firefighter. Luis also started a family of his own. He He became a father and a grandfather. Once the authorities confirmed his identity, it was time for the reunion. In June 2024, Luis flew to Oakland to meet his biological family. Alida was waiting for him.
It was just hugs and tears, lots of hugs and tears. He hugged me really tight and he said, "Thank you for finding me."
Alida drove him to see Roger, his big brother, who was with him at the park. Roger was now 83 years old. The brothers grabbed each other and had a really tight, long hug. Then they sat together and talked. Roger spent 73 years wondering what happened to his little brother. Now he finally had his answer. 2 months after the reunion, Roger passed away. The woman who took Luis was never identified. No one knows why she took him or how he ended up with the couple who raised him. This next kidnapping seemed like an impossible case, and two girls...
I mean, he died, but he spoke to his brother before dying, which is like, you know, I'm pretty sure he was happy with that. But yo, I feel like his mom should have been there, bro, just to realize that his son is there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Took one selfie together, and the case solved itself. The sister at school. In April 1997, a new mother trusted the wrong person for just a few minutes. It was a decision she would regret for the rest of her life. Her name was Celeste, and she was at a hospital in South Africa. She gave birth to her daughter, Zephanie, only 3 days earlier. Celeste was exhausted and her baby was crying. Then a woman dressed as a nurse walked in and offered to help. The nurse...
like, going just back, I'm sorry, but like, yo, majority of the kidnapping is just people dressing up as other nurses and pretending to be a nurse. And it happens in the hospitals, bro. So that is something that people we gotta fix, bro. Like how are you just casually walking inside of a hospital room and you just grab somebody's baby?
Promised to watch the baby while Celeste got some sleep. Celeste believed the woman worked at the hospital, so she handed over baby Zephanie and closed her eyes. It was only after she woke up that she realized the horrifying truth. The woman was not a nurse. She was only dressed like one so she could steal a baby. Zephanie was only 3 days old when she was taken. Police searched the hospital and the surrounding area, but they found no sign of Zephanie or the woman who took her. Eventually, the case went cold, but Celeste never stopped thinking about her missing daughter.
It's heartbreaking as a mom. You can't stop thinking about her. Is she okay? Is she loved?
And every year, the family found a special way to keep their hope alive.
They never gave up hope, even celebrating their missing daughter's birthday every year.
But even as they searched, life continued. A few years later, Zephanie's parents had another daughter. They named her Cassidy. Cassidy grew up knowing that she had a missing older sister. 17 years passed without an answer, but Zephanie was alive and growing up. In fact, she lived only a few miles away. The woman who took Zephanie was named Lavona Solomon. Lavona desperately wanted a child, but she had experienced numerous miscarriages. In 1997, she lost another pregnancy, but she told no one. Lavona kept pretending to be pregnant. That's when she went to the hospital and stole a newborn. When she returned home, Lavona's husband and family believed the child was hers. Lavona gave the baby a new name, Mishay Solomon. Mishay grew up in a loving home. She had no idea who she really was. Meanwhile, her biological sister Cassidy was growing up nearby. In 2015, Cassidy started attending high school. Mishay was already a student at the same school, a few grades ahead. Almost immediately, other students noticed something. Mishay and Cassidy looked like twins.
Because they used to ask us, "Are you guys sure you're not sisters?" And we used to joke like maybe in another lifetime.
Soon, Mishay and Cassidy became close friends. Neither of them knew they were biological sisters. One day, they took a selfie together. Cassidy showed the photograph to her parents. They couldn't stop staring at the girl beside her. The resemblance was impossible to ignore, so Cassidy's father asked to meet Mishay. When they met, he studied the way she looked and behaved.
The way she spoke, the way she laughed, the way she walked, everything about her was just Celeste.
He asked Mishay when she was born. Mishay said her birthday was April 30th, 1997. That was the exact day Zephanie was stolen from the hospital. Cassidy's father didn't tell Mishay what he suspected. He simply went home and called the police. After 17 years, the case was open again. Police began investigating Mishay's identity. They questioned Lavona, the woman who claimed she gave birth to her. Officers asked to see Mishay's birth certificate. The certificate said Mishay was born at a nearby hospital, but the police police didn't just accept it as fact. They went to the hospital to check. That was when the story started to fall apart. The hospital had no record of Miche being born there. Now the police had a serious reason to investigate. They asked Miche to take a DNA test. She agreed. The results came back. Miche Solomon was actually Zephany Nurse. Miche was reunited with her biological mother, Celeste. Celeste was emotional.
I couldn't stop crying. I said, finally, I found you. For 17 years, I've been looking for you.
Miche now found herself caught between two families. After thinking about it, she made a controversial decision. She chose to stay with the family who raised her. She also kept the name she grew up with. Many people didn't understand her choice, but Miche explained how the situation felt to her.
I didn't feel kidnapped. I didn't feel like I'm missing. I felt like I was supposed to be where I was supposed to be.
Meanwhile, the police arrested Lavona. In 2016, she was convicted of kidnapping and sentenced to 10 years in prison. But Miche still cared about the woman who raised her. So even after learning the truth, Miche still visited Lavona in prison. Lavona was released on parole in August 2023. Some of these people spent decades not knowing who they really were, and still they became firefighters, parents, and good people along the way. My friends, your past isn't always something you get to choose, but you always get to choose your future.
Definitely.
Visual Venture.
That's for sure. That is for sure. Sorry, bud. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly did. That was crazy to even guess, to be honest with you. Yeah, drop a like if you guys like this video. Drop a comment as well. Yeah, boys, let me know what y'all think, to be honest with you. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. I don't know why. I'm just terrible with outros, bro. So it's kind of like weird when I do them. So you feel me? I'm just putting up some more shots up, but it's okay. And of course, thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned to the next one. Oh, why am I moving like this?